and I'm eager to live a better life. Currently, we are reading from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and we are on the page 139. Should you have it? Very good. And it's chapter 14, How to Make Good Habits Inevitable and Bad Habits Impossible. Yes, so couple of guiding principles. Please mute your phone when not speaking. And what about this group objective? That's group preamble. The primary purpose of Better Living Group is to carry its message to a person who is eager to live a better life. We alter our lives with balanced living. There are no dues or fees for the membership. And the guiding principles, I'm going to skip them. I'm going to right away start on the reading. Would somebody like to? Okay, we have not said hello. Okay, we'll say it after probably the call. I'm sorry, gonna. Okay, would anybody like to start reading first?
Okay, I'll continue. I'll start from here.
Thanks.
Am I audible? Is it clear
Yes,
enough?
loud and clear. Yes, sir.
Okay. How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. In the summer of 1830, Victor Hugo was facing an impossible deadline. 12 months earlier, the French author had promised his publisher a new book, but instead of writing, he spent that year pursuing other projects, entertaining guests, and delaying his work. Frustrated, Hugo's publisher responded by setting a deadline less than 6 months away. The book had to be finished by February 1831. Hugo concocted a strange plan to beat his procrastination. He collected all of his clothes and asked an assistant to lock them away in a large chest. He was left with nothing to wear except a large shawl. Lacking any suitable clothing to go outdoors, he remained in his study and wrote furiously during the fall and winter of 1830. The Hunchback was published in 2 weeks early on January 14th, 1831. Sometimes success is less about making good habits easy and more about making a bad habits hard. This is an inversion of the third law of behavior change, make it difficult. If you find yourself continually struggling to follow through on your plans, then you can take a page from Victor Hugo and make your bad habits more difficult by creating what psychologists call a commitment device. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that controls your actions in the future. It is a way to lock in future behavior, bind you to good habits, and restrict you from bad ones. When Victor Hugo shut his clothes away so he could focus on writing, he was creating a commitment device. There are many ways to create a commitment device. You can reduce overeating by purchasing food in individual packages rather than in bulk size. You can voluntarily ask to be added in the banned list at casinos and online poker sites to prevent future gambling spree. I even heard of athletes who have to make wait for the competition, choosing to leave their wallets at home during the week before weight so they won't be tempted to buy fast food. As another example, my friend and fellow habits expert, Miss Neer Nir Iyal, purchased an outlet timer, which is an adapter that he plugged in between his internet router and power outlet. At 10 p.m. each night, the outlet timer cuts off the power to the router. When the internet goes off, everyone knows it's time to go to bed. Commitment devices are useful because they enable you to make advantage of good intention before you fall victim to temptation. Whenever I'm looking to cut calories, for example, I'll ask the waiter to split my meal and box half of it to go before the meal is served. I waited until the meal came out and told myself I'll just eat half. It would never work. The key is to change the task such that it requires more work to get out of the good habit than to get started on it. If you're feeling motivated to get in shape, schedule a yoga session and pay ahead of time. If you are excited about the business you want to start, email an entrepreneur you respect and set up a consulting call. When the time comes to act, the only way to bail is to cancel a meeting, which requires effort and may cost money. Commitment device increases the odds that you will do right thing in the future by making bad habits difficult in the present. However, we can do even better. We can make bad habits inevitable and good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. How to automate a habit and never think about it again. John Henry Patterson was born in Dayton, Ohio in 1844. He spent his childhood doing chore on the family farm and working shift at his father's sawmill. After attending college at Dartmouth, Patterson returned to Ohio and opened a small supply store for coal miners. It seemed like a good opportunity. The store faced little competition and enjoyed a steady stream of customers, but still struggled to make money. That was when Patterson discovered his employees were stealing from him. In the mid 1800s, employees theft was a common problem. Receipts were kept in the open drawer and could easily be altered or discarded. There were no video cameras to review behavior and no software to track transactions. Unless you are willing to hover over your employees every minute of the day or to manage all transactions yourselves. It was difficult to prevent theft. As Patterson mulled over his predicament, he came across an advertisement for a new invention called Ritty's Incorruptible Cashier, designed by fellow Dayton resident James Ritty. It was the first cash register. The machine automatically locked the cash and receipts inside after each transaction. Patterson bought two for $50 each. Employee theft at his store vanished overnight. In the next 6 months, Patterson went from losing money to making $5,000 in profit, the equivalent of more than $100,000 today. Patterson was so impressed with the machine that he changed business. He bought the rights to Ritty's invention and opened a national cash registry company. 10 years later, National Cash Registry had over 1,000 employees and was on its way to becoming one of the most successful business of its time. The best way to break a bad habit is to make it impractical to do. Increase the friction until you don't even have the option to act. The brilliance of the cash register was that it automated ethical behavior by making stealing practically impossible. Rather than trying to change the employees, it made the preferred behavior automatic. Some actions like installing a cash register pay off again and again. These one-time choices requires little bit of effort upfront but create increasing value over time. I am fascinated by the idea that single choice can deliver returns again and again. And I surveyed my readers on their favorite one-time action that lead to better long-term habits. The table on the following pages shared some of the most popular answers. I'd wager that if the average person were to simply do the half of the one-time action on the list, even if they don't they didn't give another thought to their habits, most would find themselves living a better life a year from now. These one-time actions are a straightforward way to employ the third law of behavior change. They make it easier to sleep well, eat healthy, be productive, save money, and generally live better. Now, here I would like to stop and pass. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Amrish. Thank you very much. I've also posted in the chat bar the outlet device. Now it's time you can sleep in peace by using the timer. That's an awesome thing. Thanks for the awesome reading. And there's one thing I would like to mention. Most would find themselves living a better life a year from now. And this is such a powerful thing because we all are eager to live a better life, and that's what we are reading right now. So I'm gonna skip this table, one-time action that lock in good habits, because we are doing a marathon, reading fast. So anybody else would like to take it ahead? Hell yeah, she's not in the call. Oh, okay, I am on the call, so probably I'll start. Of course, there are many ways to automate good habits and to eliminate bad ones. Typically, they involve putting technology to work for you. Technology can transform actions that were once heard annoying and complicated into behaviors that are easy, painless, and simple. It is most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior. This is particularly useful for behaviors that happen to infrequently to become habitual. Things you have to do monthly or yearly, like rebalancing your investment portfolio, are never repeated frequently, and if to become a habit. So the benefit in particular from technology, remembering them to do for them for you. Other examples: medicines, personal finance, cooking, and productivity. When you automate as much of your life as possible, you can spend your effort on tasks a machine can do it too yet. Each habit that we hand over to the authority of technology frees up time and energy to pour into the next stage of growth. As a mathematician and philosopher, Alfred North Whitehead wrote, civilization advances by extending the number of operations without thinking about them. I'm gonna take this opportunity to pass and welcome Ahelia. Would you like to take it ahead? It starts from, of course. From, of course. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. I think she is on mute.
Okay, are you talking on mute, Ahalya? Would you like to take it ahead?
Um, I'm traveling right now, so I won't be able to speak. That's why.
Ah, okay. So, all right. Okay. Thanks for joining in. So, we appreciate it, and we hope that you get something out of this session. So, I'm gonna continue reading. Yeah.
Akash, were you reading because you are on mute?
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm here. It's easy to write of these minor distractions. I'm just taking a break. Yeah. Sorry. However, over time, they can accumulate into serious issues. The constant tug of just one more minute can prevent me from doing anything consequences. During the year I was writing the book, I experimented with the new time management strategy. Every Monday, my assistant would reset all the passwords. All week, I would work without distraction. One of the biggest surprises how I was quickly I adopted within the first week was locking myself out of social media. I realized that I needed to check in it as nearly as possible I had been. When working in your favor, automation can make your good habits inevitable and your bad habits impossible. It is ultimate way to lock in future behavior rather than relying on willpower in the moment. By utilizing the commitment devices, strategizing one-time decisions, and technology, you can create an environment of inevitability, a space where good habits are not just an outcome you hope, however, an outcome that is virtually guaranteed. Chapter summary I'm gonna skip, and this table I'm gonna skip, and I'm gonna come to fourth law, make it satisfying. Chapter 15, the cardinal rule of behavior change. In late 1990s, a public wealth worker named Stephen Lolubi left his hometown on Omaha, Nebraska, and bought a one-way ticket to Karachi, Pakistan. Karachi was one of the most populous cities in the world. By 1998, over 9 million people called it home. It was the economic center of Pakistan and the transportation hub. With some of the most active airports and the seaports in the region, its commercial parts of the town, you could find all standard urban amenities in bustling downward streets. However, Karachi was the least livable city in the world. Over 60% of the Karachi's residents lived in squatter settlement slums. The densely packed neighborhoods were filled with makeshift houses cobbled together from old boards. There was no waste removal systems. When a dry street, there was a combination of dust and trash. Mosquito colonies thrived in the pools of stagnant water. The sanitary condition led to the widespread illness and diseases. It was this public health crisis that had brought Stephen Luby to Pakistan. Luby and his team realized that in an environment with poor sanitation, the habit of washing hands could make a real difference. However, they soon discovered that the many people were already aware that hand washing was important. Yet this knowledge, many residents were washing their hands in haphazard fashion. The problem wasn't the knowledge, the challenge was the consistency. That was when the Lubo and his team partnered with Procter and Gamble to supply a neighborhood with a Safeguard soap. In Pakistan, Safeguard was a premium soap. Luby told me. The study participants commonly mentioned how much they liked it. The soap foamed easily, and people were able to lather their hands with suds. I see the goal of hand washing promotion not as a behavior change, however, as an option, adoption. The marketing team of P&G talked about trying to create a positive hand washing experience. Within months, researchers saw a rapid shift in the health of children in the neighborhood. Diarrhea fell by 52%, pneumonia 48, and impetigo, what is impetigo? A bacterial skin infection by 35%. The long-term effect, we went back to some of the households in the Karachi 6 years after. Luby told over the 95% of the household who had given the soap for free and encouraged to wash their hands had a hand washing station with the soap and water available when your study team visited. We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. This is entirely logical. Feeling of pleasure, even minor ones like washing your hands with soap that smells nice and lathers well, are the signal that tells the brain this feels good. Do this again next time. Pleasure teaches your brain that a behavior is worth remembering and repeating. Take the story of chewing gums. Chewing gums had been sold commercially throughout 1800s. This step began pushing chewing gums as a pathway to clean mouth. Advertising told readers to refresh your taste. Tasty flavors and the feeling of fresh mouth provided little bits of immediate reinforcement and made the product satisfying to use. Toothpaste has a similar trajectory. Stories like these are the evidence of the cardinal rules of the behavior chain. What is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided. We learn to do in the future based on what you are rewarded for doing in the past. Positive emotions cultivate habits, negative emotions destroy them. The first three laws of behavior change make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, increases the odds that the behavior will be performed this time. The fourth law of the behavior change make it satisfying, increasing the odds that the behavior will be repeated next time. The mismatch between the immediate and the delayed rewards. Imagine you are an animal roaming in the I think I'm gonna stop here. Mismatch. We still have a lot of the grounds to cover. I think today's 1.5 chapters is good. Or shall we pick up the alternate paras and complete it? Amrish, we have like
I think no, I think we can start from next
the
time.
mismatch. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. We are open for the shares, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Akash, for sharing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so as author explains in the paragraph that to work on his next book, he asked his assistant to lock up his social media accounts and set some password. Have tried this in my college days when I used password generator website to generate a 16 password containing all the special keywords, and I didn't saved it anywhere. I just used it, copied it from that, and changed my password of all social media accounts. For a few months, it worked perfectly fine, but then when it kicked in, I my password to get back my account. But yes, it works to an extent. Second, author explains that whenever you want to do something, let's say you want to join yoga, you want to better your physique and want to join yoga classes, pay up the fees upfront. This didn't work for me when around in 2013 I kickboxing session, and I the place where the kickboxing sessions were going on, it was around 25 kilometers away from my place, and I had to change two buses that time and join it there. But after third demo session, when I paid up the fees up front, I lost the motivation to join again, and I never went back there, not even to ask my money back. So yes, so it's not like it works for everyone. Everyone has different. Everyone has to find different ways how they can make their habits. So this needs a little deep research about what they like the most and how they can use that to make some good habits or break some old habits. So that was it from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Amrish. Thanks, Amrish. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really, really grateful. Yeah, I'm so thankful. I was a thankless guy, who never realized that all I'm trying to do is trying to carry the weight of whole world on my own shoulders. That's right. I was trying to carry the weight of everything that I should be doing on my own shoulders. And somebody told me that the difference between God's will and your will is what you think you should be doing is God's will, and what you are doing is your will. And more of my life, when I started seeking what God's will is for me and what He wants me to do, rather than I putting my ego, my character defects, my way of small vision, it will never be a consistent and commitment action. And the only thing that produces results are the small, consistent, small and big, consistent actions taken with discipline. Right? Right. Yeah. So small actions. One day I'm feeling high, so I went out for a jog, 1 year. That is not a consistent action. That I do repeatedly. Repetition is the progress. And the more I repeat myself, the more I open myself for the opportunities that action presents. The more I start coming and being of service of this fellowship, of reading and doing service, the more I'm open to the like minded people. And the like minded people are those who are eager to live a better life. And by God, there's nobody in the world who is more eager than me today to live a better life. And And these chapters were very thought provoking. They were like a mind protein to me, because it took me to a lot of incidences which I would like to share. A couple of them would be, um, I devised strategy 2 months ago of completely using my mobile phone only for the music and making phone calls. Yeah, ideally one object, one use is my policy. I believe on single object design in my real world scenario as well. That means when I have a pencil, I use it to write, not to scratch my back. That's the only job for one pencil. Should I need a pencil? Should I need something to scratch my back? I'll buy another pencil. Yeah, simple. That's the same with the phone. I have three different phones for three different purposes, and that serves me really well, because when I do some work, I keep that phone me. When I do my office work, I keep that phone with me. Yeah, and this has been working out wonders. First, this kind of a simplification happened in my life. Second one happened is, in one kind of a work, I need a lot of WhatsApp and communication with a lot of people. So the moment I've separated out in a different phone is, I started only using that phone when I'm sitting on the laptop with working for that particular uh, area. Yeah. So I'm not carrying that phone around with me anymore. And when I'm not carrying around this phone anymore, I'm not carrying that work with me in the personal life. And this was the beauty. This is the beauty. Yeah. So phone for my personal life with my personal friends is different, and phones for my work and my other interests or passions are different. So I've like got three numbers, and sometimes I think why I'm doing it myself. However, it made my life so simplified. I can tell you. Second thing that what I've done is, in my personal phone, my few family members are living abroad, so I need certain apps which I really don't personally recommend using. So what I've done is, I've made a policy to generate a password online, and the password is a little alphanumeric, sophisticated, like previously I'm mentioning the same strategy. However, I've made sure that I keep the password only in my laptop, in my computer. Yeah, so whenever I need to open that app, I'm on the front of the computer. That enforce me that only when I'm doing the work I can open those apps. So all my banking apps, all my social apps are password protected, not from somebody else, for security reasons. For security reasons, because I don't want to binge anything. Yeah, my phone is only for two purposes: music and making phone calls. And this has been done wondering wonders to me, because I know that I don't know that sophisticated password. It's somewhere in my laptop, and my laptop is one floor up, and I don't so now I just don't carry mobile phone anymore anywhere with me. And this is so productive. When I'm with my family, I'm with my family. When I'm working, and I'm working and playing, I've stopped mixing them. That's not me. When I'm working, I'm currently 100% into it, and the quality of work that comes out of it, by God, I can't tell you. This is so great thing, and I'm more relaxed and much better. And second incident I would like to share is when the habit of eating tobacco. Yeah, it's been with me for about 10 years, and I'm really grateful for God that I realized that I cannot do it alone, because all the factors for making it a habit, a bad, is right in front of me. It is obvious. People around me were eating it. It was attractive because every shop was selling it. It was attractive because the tobacco influences the mind. And the third law, make it easy. It was available anywhere, cheaply and expensively, and it was satisfying. Yes, it was satisfying. Tobacco and nicotine are really satisfying. To somebody who was used for 10 years, I tried it several hacks, and everything in this book, only thing that worked with me was 2.2 of the second law: join a culture where desired behavior is the normal behavior. I've joined a people um, who have stopped doing this, who are fighting the cravings, and some people go to advanced level. Thank God I didn't reach that level, where it's become very very difficult very hard for them to reach and and their whole life become fighting with that craving. Yeah, I'm so grateful that was taken to me from my life like a dead fly from the cold coffee. Yeah, it was so easily taken out. So I'm so grateful that some people who are finding it so life threatening and so hard, and there's it was taken from me very easily because I was willing enough, open-minded enough, and I prayed from God. For 2 months, I prayed only for willingness. Please allow me, and He led me to the right people. I'm so grateful that I could do that and I can share it. And yesterday I was watching a movie and there was an advertisement. Oh my God, that advertisement I would always skip when I was eating that tobacco, nicotine. This time I saw it completely end to end, and I was so full of gratitude. And thank you, you saved me. At least I'll not die if something happens to me because life is ephemeral. Something happens to me, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die full. I'm gonna live my life full. I'm gonna die empty. And today I'm really, really dying to live, not living to die. This life, as I know it, is awesome, and there is nobody on this face of earth who's gonna take away this day. I'm gonna run this day, not nobody else. So that concludes the sharing part. Timings. I think we are almost on time. Concluding part where I say, yes, I have recorded this session, so I'll put it. No guarantee yet though. So next meeting is the group is in Friday, and Amrish, I'll request you to stay after the meeting. I'll end the recording. I have a few points I would like to talk to you about, and rest everything is good. So let's conclude with the prayer. And what prayer could I say? Okay, with your mics open, let's do a prayer by being in peace. And it says, if we are peaceful, when we are happy, we can smile and blossom like a flower, when everyone in our family and our society will benefit from our peace. And that concludes our session for today.